Welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. You've seen on the media that Mr. Bob Njagi and Mr. Nicholas Oyo, both were Kenyan nationals and human rights activists, were detained in Uganda and they were abducted on the 1st of October this year. So Kenyans have been protesting online, demanding for their release from where they were held. I have seen human rights activists and people praising the former president Uhuru Kenyatta of involving himself in the release of the two activists. Nothing can be far from the truth. If you don't understand, allow me to make you understand in this particular video. Let us first begin by the letter, the formal letter that was sent to Uganda. On the 31st of October 2025, the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who is also Kenya's Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, did a letter to the Ugandan authorities, and it addressed Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, General J.J. Odongo. In that letter, Mr. Mudavadi expressed deep concern and frustration over Uganda's silence despite earlier diplomatic inquiries. The letter demanded answers and urged Kampala to act swiftly in tracing the two Kenyans believed to have been abducted by Ugandan security agents. The letter, which I also have a copy, emphasized that both governments are duty-bound to the protection and safety of our citizens, and stressed the need to uphold the values of the East African community. This formal letter followed an initial official protest conveyed through a note verbal sent by Kenya's High Commission in Kampala to Uganda's Ministry of Foreign Affairs on October 3rd, 2025. Now, after these letters and calls, still the two activists were not released and they continued to be held in Uganda. There is news on media that Uhuru Kenyatta intervened, and someone is asking how. It is perceived that William Ruto is Museveni's personal friend. But do you know, there are some commands that Museveni's son Muhoozi cannot take from his father. And you know, Muhoozi is planning to inherit the presidency from his father. Because from how things look, Mzee could die still holding power, because he's not willing to get out of power anytime soon. He's contesting again in next year's general election. But then someone could ask, Museveni, a friend to William Ruto, how did Uhuru Kenyatta then intervene in the release of two activists? General Muhoozi, who is Museveni's son, is the boss ya military pale Uganda. Yeye ndio mdosi ya military. And Muhoozi sometimes gives orders to Museveni. He is a tough-headed human being. For those of you who have followed him closely and his politics. General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, I don't know how you pronounce, my friend from Uganda, Enid Kakuya. Maybe you tell me how you pronounce this one. Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the other name for Muhoozi. I don't know how you pronounce it. Maybe you will teach me on WhatsApp later on after this video. I hope you are watching. We all remember, in fact, Enid was giving me a story. Enid is one of my diehard followers from Uganda. She was giving me a story, I think it was last year or so, when I was actively involved in Raila Odinga's political analysis. It was 2022, yeah. So Enid told me the story of Muhoozi, the relationship between Muhoozi and Uhuru Kenyatta. Deep relationships that exist to date. It is at this point from Enid I came to discover, but then Enid loves Museveni so much. When I speak negatively about Museveni, she runs mad in my inbox. But Ugandans, I love you so much. Eh? One time they were explaining to me why they love Museveni, but that's a story for another day. General Muhoozi, the son of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, according to the data and information which I got from Enid, is that Muhoozi lived in Kenya when he was a child. Akiwa mtoto mdogo, he lived in Kenya. And while in Kenya, he went to school in Nyeri. From the home, hiyo ya kutoka, though Uhuru Kenyatta comes from Gatundu, yeah? Uhuru Kenyatta comes from Gatundu. Allow me to confirm something, yeah? Allow me to confirm something. Allow me to confirm something in a very few minutes, which I wrote here, so that I be very accurate. Though Gatundu, as it looks, though Gatundu is not located in Nyeri County, but General Muhoozi lived in Gatundu, and according to the records, if I've not forgotten, because I took down some notes when she was telling me this, Enid, I wrote down some notes. Allow me to refer. Yes. According to the notes, Muhoozi started a school called the Mount Kenya Academy in Nyeri as a child. And the history shows that he attended schools in multiple countries, though when he was young, he lived in Kenya, specifically in Nyeri, during his foundational years of schooling. This is the time they made friendship with Uhuru Kenyatta, akiwa mtoto pia. So these individuals have been visiting one another, ile ya kiurafiki. Muhoozi has been visiting Uhuru Kenyatta, and Uhuru Kenyatta has been visiting Muhoozi. Hata ile uji yenye Uhuru anasema pia washakunywa pamoja. I was told the time he lived in Westlands. Ile miaka when Westlands was the talk of Nairobi. He lived there, and they could meet with Uhuru Kenyatta wanatembea, you know, sons of the president. Muhoozi ni mtoto ya president, Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa mtoto ya former president. So they used to meet and they take uji. But to be very specific, and I want to give you evidence on this issue, if you read Muhoozi's tweets, several times he has referred Uhuru Kenyatta as brother Uhuru Kenyatta. Yes, brother Uhuru Kenyatta. That's what he always says. My big brother and friend. That's what he says. My big brother and friend Uhuru Kenyatta. That's what Muhoozi writes on X. Meaning, these are people who have grown together. Now, why have it that the two activists have been under the detention of General Muhoozi? So you see the connection. They have been detained under the military, but under the command of General Muhoozi. General Muhoozi has never been a friend to William Ruto. Ruto is only a friend to his father. But Uhuru Kenyatta is a direct friend to General Muhoozi. So Uhuru just took her phone. I am my younger brother, because Muhoozi calls him big brother. So Uhuru calls Muhoozi younger brother. Younger brother. They spoke. Akwambia my brother, wachana nao vijana wakuja, and immediately the two were released and they were handed over to the Kenyan authorities. So those who have been asking how Uhuru Kenyatta was involved, I hope now you have a perfect background for the same. The two have been having informal meetings. Muhoozi has been saying when they meet with Uhuru Kenyatta on X. So it's been a personal relationship. And that is how Uhuru Kenyatta involved himself in rescuing the two activists. God bless you. See you on the next episode. Asanteni sana.